Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Around the Horn. Now, you're going to notice on this channel, I'm going to be doing two different types of series. I'm going to be doing Yankee Yard, which is Yankee news, and I'll be doing Around the Horn, which is what I'm doing here. Just talking about the wide world of baseball, not limiting myself to talking about the Yankees because I am a baseball fan just as much as I am a Yankee fan. I just like talking about the sport. Now, what I'm going to be talking about today is the trade that just happened about an hour ago between the Mets and the White Sox. Now, the White Sox are sending a talented, still sort of young, high upside center fielder or outfielder, I guess, in Luis Robert Jr. Now, the Mets are trading young players, young cheap players, obviously cheap because they're trading to the White Sox. They're trading Luis Angel Acuna, who's been tearing it up in the Venezuelan Winter League. Who I believe, second baseman, good speed. He's been showcasing power. It's not what he's known for, but he's been showcasing it. And Truman Pauly, a right-handed pitcher. Now Truman Pauly is kind of just a throw-in. He wasn't a Mets top 30 prospect, but he is a prospect nonetheless. Now, what this trade really does is it kind of takes the Mets out of Cody Bellinger. Now, the reason I say that isn't just because of the money, but it is kind of heavily due to the money. The Mets are going to be paying Luis Robert Jr. a guaranteed $22 million, which it's a lot to pay Luis Robert Jr., especially because he's had two kind of down years, especially when we look at his 2023, which I will be talking about in a minute. But it's also because they want to play Carson Bench. That is the, I believe, number one rated prospect behind Nolan McLean, of course. Outfielder, and he's going to be good. I do believe he's going to be a really, really, really good player. So yeah, they just don't want to have an outfield gem, especially if you have that many good players. Robert is going to be playing bench. They want him to play. Soto obviously is playing. If you get Bellinger, unless you're paying him probably over $40 million a year to play first base for you, I just don't see it making sense for the New York Mets. Now, I'm not just going to be here to talk about Cody Bellinger because that's kind of me getting into the Yankee side of things, which there is a Yankee side of things. I'll probably make a video on that later. But the Mets, this is a good deal for the Mets. Luis Robert Jr., I said it when kind of introducing him, high upside. In 2023, I'm going to read his stats. He had 38 home runs. In 24 and 25, he's only hit 14, so he had more home runs that year than the past 2 years combined. 20 stolen bases, so he has amazing speed. We've seen that as well last year. A 264 batting average, really good. An 857 OPS, really good. And he was 96th percentile in fielding run value with 12 outs above average. In 2023, this guy was looking like a future MVP. And do I think he's future MVP? No. But do I think he has the potential to almost reach what he did in 2023? Absolutely. Luis Robert Jr. is still a good player. It's just when you're playing on a team that's as bad as the White Sox have been for a while, you can't expect a player to be playing to their best potential and as good as they can be, because that's just not a healthy environment to be playing baseball. I know I wouldn't be playing good baseball if I was playing baseball for the Chicago White Sox, especially after these past 2 years. But let's talk about the player that the Mets are getting from last year, not 2023 where he peaked. In 2025, he had 14 home runs. Okay, still has some good power. I believe if he played for the New York Mets every game last year, he'd have 12 home runs, so maybe he's going to struggle in the new park. But I doubt it. He had 33 stolen bases, and he was also 90th percentile in sprint speed, which is really fun for the New York Mets, especially because we've seen what Juan Soto did last year on the base paths. I think they're just going to be like a really fun team to see on the base paths. I'm really interested in seeing how they run the bases this year. He had a 223 batting average, which we see that take a huge fall off a cliff there. And he was 87th percentile in fielding run value with 7 outs above average. Paired that with his 661 OPS from last year, which also almost took a 200-point fall. We could see noticeably he's not the same player he was in 2023. Now, is that to say he can't reach that? As I've said, numerous times in this video. No, I think he can, and I honestly think he will. I think Luis Robert Jr. will strive in the big market. You just can't strive when you're playing for a team as borderline depressing as the Chicago White Sox have been for the past few years. Now, if I'm getting into the Yankee side of things real quick, I don't know who else is in on Cody Bellinger. And not even the Yankee side, but just the overall MLB side, because I am talking about the best remaining free agent on the market. Who else could possibly be in on Cody Bellinger? San Francisco, maybe, but if you look at their ballpark, Cody Bellinger certainly won't strive there. I think they know that, and I'm sure he knows that. I don't know if he, as a Boris agent client, cares, but that just doesn't make sense to me. The Toronto Blue Jays, maybe, but reportedly they aren't in on him either. I think it just makes perfect sense for him to be returning back to the Bronx Bombers, unless the Dodgers come in and do something crazy, or the Phillies. I can see the Phillies trying to make a move here. Yeah, this is just kind of a shocking trade, because we've heard Luis Robert's name get brought up in trades, I believe, for the Reds and the Mets, kind of this entire offseason. We knew the Mets wanted an outfielder. Then they offered $50 million for Kyle Tucker, and it was like, oh, they're getting Kyle Tucker. And now today it was like they have a low year, high annual contract, right? And it was like, oh, maybe they'll get Cody Bellinger. And now they just, out of the blue, trade for Luis Robert Jr. It's kind of like, so this is their outfield. And it's starting pitcher time in Queens. And it is Cody Bellinger time in the Bronx, it seems. That's kind of it for now. Hopefully the next video I make is something about Cody Bellinger. I'm sure it will be, because that's kind of what the talk of the baseball world is right now. So that's it for now. I'll see you guys in the next one.